Good evening and welcome to the Monday, November 11, Muscatine School District Board of Education meeting. Madam Secretary, can you please take roll and help us determine the quorum, please?
Director Conard.
Present.
Cooney.
Present.
DeBeat.
Present?
LaRue.
Present.
Phillips.
Present.
Schneider. Present. Shore.
Present.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. So the next item on our agenda is to recite the Pledge of the Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and good evening, everybody. And it's always good to see a lot of people sitting around here attending our meetings. So welcome all on behalf of the board, and welcome any media representatives also if they are around with us tonight. With that, we move into the school or student school board representative reports, and that's with Kayla and McKenna, please.
Hello and welcome to the school board meeting. We are already halfway, well, not halfway, in the middle of the second quarter, and things are very busy, so I'll try to go through these quickly. Student Council is hosting the annual Can Ball, which is a male volleyball tournament, which raises canned food for the canned food drive. Model UN went to Des Moines on November 7th, and they took 35 students to debate international issues with other students from Iowa. The conference went smoothly, and 2 Muscatine students were awarded Best Delegate. They were Melita Dulo and Jojo Ajabale. Key Club is hosting their fall blood drive on the 14th of November. They have more than 50 students and teachers signed up to donate. Key Club is very busy in the winter with volunteering opportunities like the Red Kennel Campaign, Muscatine Park and Recs, selling Santagrams, and writing Christmas letters to senior citizens. FFA has had multiple things happen in the past month. First of all, they hosted the annual Bear STEM Day, where they taught 5th grade students about science. Their major fruit sale is coming to an end, so they are planning to start making their famous wreaths and wrapping up their poinsettias. They attended the National FFA Convention, and they had 2 teams compete. The mechanics team got a silver overall, and all the individuals also got silver medals for their individual performances. They were Corinne McDonald, Caden Miller, Alex Houch, and Brady Hogg. All got individual silver medals. The meet evaluation team also got an overall silver medal. Their individuals, Cheyenne Mosier, Madison Wyatt, and Zach Zorich all got individual silver medals. And then one team member, Saxy Stein, received a gold medal for his performance. The MHS Drama Department hosted their Radium Girls play this weekend. The play is about women working in radium factories in the early to mid 1900s and the dangerous work conditions they had endured. The play had an amazing turnout with 2 almost sold out shows. And finally for clubs, NHS is introducing its new members tonight at 7 p.m. And now to sports. Girls Cross Country just finished their season with 2 of their members, Whitney Estabrook and Avery Bradley, going to state.
Girls and boys wrestling has officially started, and the girls wrestling apparel store is now open as well. Tryouts for the varsity teams will be later this week. The Muskie football team finished their season off strong with a touchdown at the end of the 4th quarter of their last game. The team finished 3-6 and finished 4th in the 5A Eastern Iowa District. Muskie Girls Swim will be heading to state next weekend. Muscatine will be swimming the 200 medley relay with Era Boyer, Cameron Jepkis, Ava Boyer, and Kate Lear. The 400 freestyle relay with Kate Lear, Maya Simpson, Era Boyer, and Birdie Eyeclimber. And senior Kate Lear will be returning to compete the 50 free. Muskie Volleyball finished the season 10-23. Many records were broken for the team, including Juliana Montez, who now holds the record for the most aces in one single season. Basketball tryouts are next week for team placements, and MHS is seeing a large spike in the number of new students, specifically upperclassmen, trying out for basketball that haven't before. Winter sports have already started competing at Susan Clark Junior High at the middle school level. Winter sports at the high school are starting practices this week or started last week. Meetings for spring sports have also started during Muskie time. For things we would like to mention about the high school, this year we have had the opportunity to practice an active shooter drill in our building. I think it has been a positive experience for staff and students because it gives us the opportunity to experience what that situation would look like. One thing that we think would make the drills more efficient would be the use of these door magnets that Grant Elementary uses. I'll pass them to him.
Thank you.
If you want to look at them. All the doors would be locked at all times, but the magnet serves so that it doesn't latch unless the magnet is removed. So it would stand in between the hole in the door frame where the lock would be. So in an active shooter situation, rather than having teachers step outside of their classroom to lock their doors, all they need to do is move the magnet, which causes the door to lock, saving precious time. Also, if teachers were absent and their subs didn't have a key, this is an easy way for them to lock down. They are inexpensive and could be a lifesaver. I think this would be something great to implement not just at MHS, but district-wide. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla and McKenna. Any board members would like to say anything?
Where did you come up with this about the magnets?
So my mom's a teacher at Grant Elementary, and I saw it on her door, and I was like, this is a really great idea because when we had the first drill, I had a substitute teacher who didn't have a key to lock our door in the drill, and so I thought that'd be a great way to make it easier on not only like subs, but if there were students in hallways that went to a vacated classroom, they could easily lock themselves in that room as well.
Thank you.
And just to follow up on that, it is a great idea. As we met with our district security team this year, including PD from Muscatine, the chief was there with us. That is something that we identified we need to do consistently. So really it's right now, kind of the big ones, the high school and Susan Clark Junior High. So we have ordered those. Oh, they've got it. Okay.
Oh, cool.
So it's just now a matter of getting them input and use. Because again, sometimes how do you know it's locked? So we keep them locked all the time. And then we just need to train on pull the magnet, shut the door. We know the door is locked. So.
That was very fast. You just solved it. Didn't even know it. Perfect.
Anybody else? Well, thank you for the information. Thank you. And before we move forward, I would like to wish also everybody a happy Veterans Day today. I mean, thank you for those who served the country, and thanks for your service, and especially those who graduated from our school system and continue to serve in some capacity. So with that, we move into Citizen Speaks, which is the next item on our agenda. If anyone in the audience wants to address the board, please step to the podium, state your name and address. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Per Iowa code, we cannot respond or engage in any discussion during the board meeting. But as I always say, you know, after the board meeting, you can communicate with any of us via phone calls, or if you see us in a store, you can talk to us or send us an email or anything like that. But during the board meeting, the official business, we cannot respond. We only can listen. I know my understanding from Daphne that 2 people signed up to talk. It's up to you who would like to start. And also, we start with you. And then if anybody else would like to speak, after they speak, both of them, feel free to speak to us. Thank you.
Good evening. Is that okay? My name is Cassie Calderon. I have nearly 20 years of service in education, including Title III administrator, coordinator, and teacher of English language learners. I Fight for Kids is a message that educators have heard in professional development. We are encouraged to advocate for our students. However, concerns have been raised at every level: building principals, directors, HR, and superintendents. But the issues I am here to discuss have repeatedly been dismissed as unfounded, allowing harmful treatment and bad decisions to continue to impact our English learners. From 2003 to the present, EL students at the high school have come to trusted individuals to report ongoing struggles and treatment. They come to us not only for learning, but for the support in making school a safe place for them. Students have been singled out in class for their grades and efforts and criticized and ridiculed. Some students have been denied support, verbally attacked, referencing their legal status. Threats are used to intimidate students. Students have reported mistreatment and faced retaliation. They've been denied mandated accommodations, violating their rights, encouraged to waive service, which suggests incompetence in legal protections for English learners, lack of proper access due to inadequate language support. No student should ever enter a classroom feeling targeted or fearful. I have reported, as others have also done, to advocate for these students and the answer was to remove one person who advocates proudly for her students and families. This measure was justified by decreased enrollment. However, social, emotional, and educational needs of our students remain unmet. Data from school performance systems shows that surrounding districts such as Iowa City, Davenport, West Liberty, Columbus Junction, and Pleasant Valley maintain student-teacher ratio for ELs no more than 38:1. In contrast, our high school has a ratio of approximately 60:1. When I requested current numbers, it was stated that only 50 are receiving services. Data also shows that from 2018 to 2024, student-teacher ratio has consistently remained at a minimum of 60:2. The current ratio exceeds acceptable levels. How can students have equal access when they come to school only to face extreme circumstances occurring within our school? These conditions are unacceptable and shameful. We should be listening to our students and making things right instead of silencing them and treating them and creating an environment of hurt and broken trust. I could stand here and tell you about Lau versus Nichols or Castaneda versus Pickard, because these are the people and judgments that have come before us to ensure right decisions are made for all of our students. But I am here now asking, why are these students being ignored? Thank you for giving me the time to speak and listening to these issues.
Thank you.
My name's Carrie Delby. My address is 318 Eagle Ridge Road, Muscatine, Iowa. The following readings are letters from EL students. This letter's from student 1. Hello, I am a student. I wanted to speak up not only for myself, but for several of my classmates who are afraid to speak. I wanted to say that some translator teachers have treated us humiliated us in several situations, made fun of us for not speaking English, yelled at us, called us illegals and immigrants. They have made us feel bad, especially me. I have cried and have not wanted to go to school anymore out of fear. They have made me not want to ask for help because I think they will make me feel bad and how it has affected my studies. I have many questions about classes that I don't understand, but I don't ask for help. For this reason, it is not fair that they treat us badly when we have done nothing, and we have never had complaints from teachers who complain about us, when all we do is behave well and respect them. I feel that we deserve respect, as they also demand respect. I have complained several times, and not only me, several people have spoken with many from the school, with the director and the counselors, and have done nothing about it. I feel that if one of their children were going through the same situation as us, they would not allow this to happen, and they would do justice. But why with us? Because we do not speak English, and we cannot defend ourselves, because we are immigrants, because we do not have family who support us, because we are different. They do not do anything about the respect. We must be heard, and they must do something about it. We also have a heart, and since they can affect us in many ways, I just want to say that they should improve that and not allow them to treat their students differently. They should listen to them, because they do not know how they feel. I ask for justice, and I hope that this should improve, and not just this year, but all of them, because I know that more students will come, and they will go through the same situation, and they will not be able to raise their voices for fear of something else. They will leave school. We only come to school to study and learn, that they will help us when we are older, and this can affect everything we do. Many of us come here to have a good future, and we work hard in school to get good grades, even though the language is an obstacle. Student 2. Hello, I'm a student, which is why I'm writing this letter. It is to ask for justice for me and everyone. We deserve to be treated equally. I do not like how some teachers make fun of us, and on the other hand, I do not like to see how they treat my friends and how they scold them and shout at them. We all deserve an opportunity, and another thing that I want to emphasize is that I don't like people seeing us in a bad way because of what they do. So I ask for justice, and I hope that this is really done. And I'm really afraid because I know that my voice doesn't count for anyone. But I do everything possible for all of my friends. That's what I'm doing. I would really appreciate it if you would do something about it. Thank you very much. Sincerely, Anonymous. Justice for all, and everyone be treated the same. I have 2 additional students. Would you like to hear their?
If you can send us all this via email, we'll appreciate that.
Yep.
Because again, as I said, it's hard for us to even talk about it
Sure.
during the official meeting. We will look forward to hear back from you with all the stories and take it from there.
Okay.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other any other visitors would like to address the board? Anybody else?
If someone else wanted to read them, they could do that if you wanted it on record.
Yeah, and that would be an option, yeah, if somebody would like to read those other 2 letters.
That's okay if you just want to email us.
Yeah,
I just wanted you to have the opportunity.
yeah. Okay. Anybody else would like to address the board? Well, thank you. Thank you for visiting, and thank you for sharing your concerns with us as a board. Thank you. Moving forward, we move into the possible action item. The following items are considered to be routine by the Board of Education and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a director so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence from the agenda. The items are 1, minutes, 2, bills and claims, 3, policies, 3rd and final reading. What are the wishes of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the items.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion carried. With that, that will come to an end for our retiring board for 23-24 school year. So do we have, first of all, I would like to thank all board members for your diligent work throughout this year. And also the student board, thank you for sharing your stories. Daphne, thank you. No matter how much we say thank you to you, I don't think it will be enough. Thank you for being a great board secretary. And our superintendent, Mr. Christopher, thank you for working together throughout this year. So if there is no other business, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Those of you in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I assume no opposition, right? Okay, shall we take 5 minutes to adjust, or you want to start right away?
We're ready to get into it?
Okay.
If you want to start right away, I will turn everything to our secretary to take it from here.
So I will take over for this section of the meeting, and so our annual meeting is now called to order. And jot down time. And our first item of business is the election of the president and vice president of the board. I'm going to ask for nominations for the board president first. Second's not required for the nominations. If there's only one nomination, we just need a motion to cast, and a second, to cast the unanimous vote for the board president. If there are more than one nomination, I do have some little ballots that we can use. And again, we would have the motion and second needed for nominations to cease, and then cast your ballots. After that, I'll administer the oath of office to the board president, and then we'll go on to the vice president and the same process. So at this time, I can take nominations for the board president.
I will have the honor to nominate Lindsay for board president.
Okay. Do we have any? Okay. So then, if there's only one, then we just need someone to do a motion and then have a second to cast the unanimous vote for Lindsay for board president.
I'll make the motion to cease the nominations.
And then you want to cast a unanimous vote?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to cast unanimous vote. for
Okay.
Lindsay.
And then we just need a second for that.
Second.
Matt? Okay. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. So now I ask the board president to raise, we'll stand up, and I'll raise this up a little bit. So I'm just going to read this to you, and you can raise your right hand. And do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially, to the best of your ability, discharge the duties of the office of board president in the Muscatine Community School District as now and hereafter required by law? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So you get to switch.
We can move like a lady.
So we are going to just do the same process, but this time it will be for vice president. And if anyone wants to nominate, we can do that. We'll give you a second to get settled.
Thank you.
All right. So we are ready for nominations for the board vice president.
I would like to make a nomination for John DeBeat for being vice president, please.
I'll second.
Okay.
Oh, I can't anymore.
Well, you don't, this is just a nomination, so
Oh, okay.
right now we're good. Yeah. So once we have the nominations, then we just need a motion unless there's any other nominations or anybody else. So again, we just need the motion and a second to cast a unanimous vote for John to be the board vice president.
I make the motion that we
Cast the unanimous
cast a
vote?
unanimous vote for
John.
John DeBeat.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. So now we get to administer the oath of office for the vice president. And I'm going to read it again. So do you solemnly swear you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially, to the best of your ability, discharge the duties of the office of Board Vice President in the Muscatine Community School District as now and hereafter required by law? I do. Congratulations. Madam President, we turn the meeting over to you.
Okay. I won't mess up again. Until I do. All right. So we'll start with the annual meeting, where we will transact the following annual business as prescribed by law. We can either do this in one motion or each item separately. We'll appoint Daphne Donald as Board Secretary, appoint Tom Anderson as Board Treasurer, designate Midwest One Bank, CBI Bank and Trust, Community Bank and Trust, and Iowa Schools Joint Investment Trust as the official depositories of district funds in the amount of $25 million each, and appoint Kundal Law Office and Ehlers Law Firm as counsels to represent the school district in legal matters on a time-basis action, designate the Muscatine Journal as the publication of record, and appoint district compliance officers. How would the board like to proceed?
Make a motion to approve the annual meeting, transact the following annual business prescribed by law with one motion.
Second?
Is there any discussion on any of those? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed, same sign. Okay. Then we'll move to the organization of the board. Believe just informational, the board meeting schedule has been provided for December 2024 through November 2025. I don't believe we need any action on that.
It's just a review.
And then board assignments, we will have action on each of these items. We'll need a nomination and a motion for the appointment to the County Conference Board.
Go ahead, John.
Oh, I believe Karen
Yes.
did this, so I nominate Karen if she wished to continue to do that.
I would be willing to do that, yes.
We
Second?
have a motion. Was that your motion?
Yeah.
Okay, and then a second. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. And the appointment to the Ag Learning Center Board.
Again, I believe that Kim represented us on the Ag Learning Center, so I would like to nominate Kim for this.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right. And then the board target goals and reports. Oh,
We have the appointment to the audit.
committee.
One more.
Sorry, Matt.
That's okay.
All right, appointment to the audit committee. The action?
And I believe Matt represented us before, so I nominate Matt for this position if he wishes to continue.
Yep.
Second? Second. And then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, now the board target and goals report. Students will graduate prepared for post-secondary options. Muscatine schools will utilize resources effectively and equitably, and students will learn in a positive and supportive environment. Do you have a report?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
All right. Move into action items, and again, I think we have the consent agenda. So the following items are considered to be routine by the Board of Education and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a director so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence from the agenda. Employment recommendations, special education contract with Iowa City, special education Muscatine Community School District contracts, district committees, project search para-educator sharing agreement, policies with no or minimal changes required by law, student teacher and pre-teacher agreements with St. Ambrose, and to delete board policy 401.11, regulations 3. How would the board like to proceed?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. I skipped your discussion. All right, and then we're moving right along to discussion already. Tom with the financials.
I say we had to have somebody up here tonight. Everybody else can break tonight.
So our financial report tonight is from October. Everything's reconciled and a comparison of the prior month is shown. So each of our taxing funds, the general, management, and PEPL, you can see increased because of our first half of property tax receipts for 2025. The treasurer's report for October is presented comparing to the same period last year. So again, our fund balance in the general fund increased 3.7, just mainly due to receiving those property taxes in October. And then please reach out to me if you have any questions about any other funds. Our quarterly report of actual expenditures compared to the budget. You remember this is what we approved, the published budget in April, and then so we'll be monitoring that throughout the next several months, and then I'll be reporting again in probably January, February to determine if we need to do a budget amendment. Our general fund resources, or revenues by source, expenditures by object, comparing the same time in FY23. We're going to be getting to report claims for federal expenditures here in November and December. On the calendar, the one action item that was supposed to be tonight will be next month because the Department of Ed does not have their application ready. So that should be opening here mid-November, and then we can approve it December 9th. And then again, our audit report will be on our agenda in December instead of January this month, so that's it.
Are there any questions for Tom?
The question I have, I see on the agenda item, on that first page, something about December 9th, about the increase enrollment stuff.
So that's going to be our school budget review committee application, the one that typically would be done tonight, but the Department of Ed doesn't have
That's
the
what you meant by
application
that.
ready. And that will typically be for increase open enrollment out and then LEP beyond 5 years instruction. So we'll have that next month.
That's what you meant by that, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, we will review board policy administrative regulations 40111R1 and 40111R2 for family and medical leave. Is there any discussion around those policies? All right, we can move to the early retirement incentive for fiscal year 25. And I see Daphne has provided us with some of those numbers here in front of us. Any discussion?
Yeah, so I just want to make sure, typically, it used to be, kind of every year they would do a retirement incentive. Then several years ago, we'd, just with staffing and some of those positions, we have not done it every year. We did it 2 years ago, but it's something we kind of bring back and talk about every couple of years now. So typically, we'd bring it to you about this time, have some conversation, answer questions, and then we'd bring you an action item, depending on the outcome of this conversation tonight, if there's agreement to at least consider moving forward, that you would act on either in December or January, okay? So, again, I sent you some class size information ahead of time. You have some information before you with some vacancies. Current teacher vacancies are 2. Just for reference, 2 years ago, we had 9 teacher vacancies at this time. Current para vacancies are 5. 2 years ago, it was 15. Long-term subs is 5, and again, that's the same as we had the last time. And then you can see where we have some student teachers, some recruiting events, et cetera. So from a staffing, one of the things we were concerned about 2 years ago is if it was really hard to hire staff, you've got a bunch of openings, and now we have additional openings, what's that going to look like? And given where we're at with staffing right now, that should not be a concern. So then we also want to show you the projected retirements. It's been done different ways in the past. Last time we did people with 25 or more years of continuous service who are age 55 by June 1st. Okay, so this year, just giving you some different numbers, if we went with 20 years, we'd have a total of 40 that would be potentially able to retire if they so choose. Remember, it's voluntary. We'd have 19 teachers and 21 non-teachers. If we look at 25 or more years of service, as we kind of did the last time, that would be 9 teachers. We'd have a administrator, and then 14 non-teachers.
Are you looking for guidance at this time, or?
Answering questions, you know, again, I think, you know, one of the things that, you know, we know as we have declining enrollment, as people retire, we're constantly in a, you know, that's why you have the class size information. So we have that kind of model set up to look at staffing levels so we can kind of keep right sizing, right? To make sure that we're as efficient as possible with our staffing. With the retirement incentives, what happens is that will come out of the management fund. So there's a savings to the general fund. The retirement incentive is paid out in the management fund. So again, we want to answer questions for you tonight. I think one thing that Tom would probably share is, you know, one of the things with the management fund we're going to have to watch this year is increased insurance costs, right, and the impact of that. And we don't necessarily know what the state's going to do in this legislative session. So again, that's those are just pieces we'll have to keep in mind as we move forward. But that's also, you know, the last time as we went with 25 years was to kind of minimize some of the impact on that.
I would take on there too is that there's a difference between going by 20 years, that's 19 teachers, where 25 is 9 teachers. So that's a good amount of teacher that you would be taking out all at one time. Is there a time frame that we need to?
There is but we have time if we approve in January like we've done in the past. So really, you give them ideally, we're going to give them, we're going to have it approved in December. We would communicate that out to staff that this is, and then we give a deadline in January, right? That they would have to, by this date in January, they would have to decide if they're going to, you know, accept that retirement incentive. And that gives us the longest window to replace those positions or figure out what we're going to do in terms of budgeting. Certainly if we did it in January with a deadline in February, I think we can, it'll be tight, but Jamie's giving me a little nervous eye, but I think we have done it where we've approved it in January before. We just have to shorten that window.
Clint, I have a quick question. I'm looking at the recruitment events planned. Can we do that before, or do we need to wait till March? Because the more we wait, the harder to recruit teachers.
And those are just the large recruitment fairs. So UNI does their recruitment fair, and that's when they do it. They do it in February. Certainly, we're always, you know, trying to recruit as we talk with student teachers. There might be events at different colleges and schools that we attend to try to do those things. But the big ones are our big three there: Iowa State, and UNI. So those are when they've set the date for that. And so we'll, you know, we like to get out there and get in front of students.
So I'm new to being on this side of this, but who decides on what the package actually is, or is the package already decided?
Package isn't decided. What we've done in the
I don't know
past.
that procedure.
What we've done in the past is $50,000 paid out of the management fund into there's a couple of options in how that's paid out. But it's done over, is it 5 years, 10,000 each of the 5 years. You can change that, right? Again, given your feedback, it could be more than that, it could be less than that. It really is, again, looking at what we've done in the past, right now we'd be looking at that same amount, but that's certainly something we could consider as well based on feedback from you.
Another question, I guess, along with that is trying to remember, as in, how many did we have last time that actually took advantage compared to who could have?
It's a good question. I may have to get back.
I don't need exacts, but just, you know.
I don't have that number for you.
Are you wanting guidance from all of us on what we feel comfortable with at 20 or 25 at this point in time?
Right now, yes, I would probably recommend 25, but would certainly look at feedback from you guys if you want to do something.
I would say if we were to do this, I'd be fine. I would rather be at 25 than 20 also. But I also had one more question was, we feel comfortable moving into Jefferson, into those classes next year with transition and all that, even
Yes.
with these numbers happening?
Because those are kids that are in our system now,
Right.
and they're
Allocated
just
resources
moving
different.
from
Yep.
one location to another location.
Yep.
So.
Do the teachers mean certified staff? So could that include administration or principals? Or
Teachers are, we only have one administrator that would, at that level,
It could be in this.
so they're not included in that teacher category.
Okay. I didn't know. On the 25 years, it says one director, but not on the 20. Is that?
That's included in the 21 non-teachers, it's, yeah. So
I
that
thought
number
maybe
is
if we picked
larger,
20, they wouldn't.
but it's still the same, yeah.
I'm with Matt. I would have us look more at the 25-year area.
Do you want us each to say something? I guess I don't.
You are welcome to.
Majority.
I'm comfortable with the 25, I think. I don't think that's out of line.
I think looking at staffing, I would be comfortable with the 20 or more years, but because of budget, I would maybe lean more towards the 25. But I think the staffing looks like we could have some confidence there. So.
25 is what we did last time.
Yes,
You did last time.
correct.
I would agree with that. I think 40 people would be an awful lot to look at.
Will we discuss this again in December, or you want a decision in December?
I think just feedback at this point. Then what we'll do in December is bring you a proposal. We'll have more discussion on that, and you can say yes or no at that point. And if it's no, but there's different feedback, we could come back in January and finish something.
I guess for my feedback, I'm comfortable with the 25 also.
Will we know anything about the insurance packages or what that could look like by then?
No. And right now, so we will be meeting with the insurance committee coming up here. And what I can tell you is the first several months of the year are always our worst months, right? So we typically do from January on significantly better. I can tell you so far, just in the first couple of months of the year, and I can only compare the first couple of months, we seem to be doing a little bit better than the same period of time over the last couple of years, right? What does that mean for the whole year? Hard to say, because things can change, right? So we'll watch that very closely. We made some significant changes last year to add to some additional savings, and so we're monitoring that as well.
You guys have done a great job with that.
Any other discussion or questions? All right, we'll move into the announcements and upcoming meetings and events. I do believe the next one I can add is the mobile food pantry tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
Tomorrow evening here. And then November 14th, we have a 2-hour early dismissal. November 15th, an in-service, no school day. November 20th through 22nd, school board directors will be attending the annual Iowa School Board Annual Convention in Des Moines. And November 27th through 29th will be the Thanksgiving holidays, no school. December 9th, school board community conversations at 5:30. And then also December 9th, the regular board meeting to follow here. Any other announcements from the board?
I just have one. Alicia left you all I think they're chocolate chip muffins. And she said if you have feedback, she'd appreciate that. You could email me or just let me know, and I'll share that with Alicia.
You mean you couldn't hear me chomping on mine during the meeting? I could not wait until after the meeting to have it, and it's quite easily to say that they were very delicious. And so our kids, for any of the muffins that they're getting and the quality of food, I'm very impressed.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And I will just add thank you for the support, and hopefully you can all keep me in line for the next year. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.